Hello, jr.3. How is everything? I hope you are all doing great. Um, Today's lesson is about questions. What are questions? Questions are things you use to ask about something. And we all know that we have two kinds of questions. First one is yes no questions, and the second one is WH questions. What is the difference between them? Let's first answer is either yes or no. So, do you like pizza? The answer is either yes I do or no I don't. Okay? But the WH question is a question that starts with a WH word. Like what? Like who, where, which, whose, what, when, why, and how. But miss, how doesn't start with WH? But if you look at it, you will notice that it has an H and a W. So it is part of the group too. So what does each word of these WH word ask about? Here we have who, asks about someone, to ask about people, where, to ask about places, which, to ask about uh, if I want you to choose from two or more than two things, whose, about belongings. For example, if I found a book, I'll say whose book is this. You can tell me it's John's or it's Julie's. So belongings. This book we should give it to John or to Julie. What, to ask about something, when, to ask about time, and why, to ask about reason, and finally how, to ask about the way you do something. Let's look at of examples. Who teaches you math? Here we used who, so we know we use who to ask about someone, so the answer is someone. Miss Hala. Where are you going? Where, to ask about a place. I'm going to school. The answer is the word school. Whose pen is this? It's Randy's. So this pen belongs to Randy. Which pen do you want? The red one. So when I say which pen do you want, I mean that there are more than one pen in front of me and I want you to choose just one. So the answer here is the red one. Why do you like pizza? Tell me a reason. Why do you like pizza? I like pizza because it is delicious. How do you go to school? The way that you go to school. I go to school by taxi, by bus, by bicycle, my father's car. So this is how you go to school. Okay? So the main point of today's lesson is how can you form a question. And to form a question, we have a password. What is the password, miss? It is called QASM. QASM. Okay? What does it stand for? Why do I say QASM? The first QU stands for question word. The question words that we have just said, the WH words. When, how, what, where, and so on. The A stands for auxiliary. What's an auxiliary? The auxiliary that you have studied so far are is, are, do, and does. Those are the auxiliary that we use in the questions. We use is and are if they are in the sentence. And if we can't find them in the sentence, we use do or does. Okay? The S stands for the subjects and M for the main verb, and we will know the subject and the main verb through the coming example. He plays tennis well. In this sentence, we have he. He is the subject. So the subject is the first word in the sentence. He, she, it, um, Andrew, uh, Lily. This is the subject, the first word of in the sentence. Plays is the verb, something you do, and tennis is the object. Uh, ver let's get back to plays. Plays is the main verb, okay? The main verb of the sentence. Tennis is the object. So this is how we form a question. So let's have a couple of examples here. They clean the rooms every morning. They clean the rooms every morning. Um, Here he wants you to ask about the word every morning, and every morning is a time, so we will ask using when. Time, to ask about time we use when. Okay, do I have here, this is the question word. What is the auxiliary that I will use? Is, are, do, or does. In the sentence I don't have is or are, so I won't use them. It's either do or does. And since the sentence starts with they, I will choose do. So when, do, and then the subject they, and then the main verb clean, and then we will continue the sentence their rooms. So the question is, when do they clean their rooms? When is the question word, do is the auxiliary, clean, do is the auxiliary, they is the subject, and clean is the main verb, and then there is um, the rest of the sentence. And of course we don't mention, or we don't write the answer in the question, okay, because this is what we ask about. Let's look at another example. Julie is closing the window because it is cold. Julie is closing the window because it is cold. Whenever you see the word because, we ask using why. So we will use the question word here, why. Then the auxiliary we have is, so we will use is. The subject, the first word of the sentence, Julie. So why is Julie, and then the rest of the sentence, the main verb closing. Why is Julie closing the window? Why, question word, is auxiliary, Julie the subject, and the main verb is closing, and then the rest of the sentence without the answer. Okay, this